and welcome to the Jocelyn Moore Show. I'm your host, Jocelyn Moore, and as always, we're here to inform, inspire, and entertain with dynamic conversations that matter. Today, we're diving into the world of martial arts. When I think of martial arts, I always think of Bruce Lee's movies and his TV series, The Green Hornet. He played Kato, the Green Hornet's crime-fighting sidekick. His ability to move so quickly and gracefully on screen was just so fascinating. Joining me today is Dr. Fred W. Waters, Jr., an Army vet, a Grandmaster 10th Dan who teaches close quarter combat and self-defense. His specialty is disarming today's weapons, such as guns and knives. He has studied several martial arts styles, such as Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Welcome to the show, Fred.
All right, thank you, Jocelyn.
Yes. Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hey, I'm Dr. Fred Waters. I'm the head instructor at Top Flight Combatants Defense, LLC. I teach close quarter combat, training military, police, civilians, and how to protect themselves, and also churches.
Well, thank you for that. Let's get started with these questions. What does Grandmaster 10th Dan mean in martial arts?
Well, you start off with a white belt and work your way up to a black belt. Then you go up to the 10 degrees, 9th in some systems. My system be 10, and you consider the Grandmaster once you get up to from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So I'm at the top of the heap, and that's what I'm going to be the rest of my life.
Can't go any further than that, huh?
That's right.
What attracted you to martial arts, and when did you start studying martial arts?
I got attracted to the martial arts back in the 70s when the TV show come out, The Green Hornet. I kind of like watching Bruce Lee and Kato, the jumping up and down and the hi-ya and all that. And then back in the 70s, I got attacked by a gang, and that got me, that's what made me got into the martial arts. So started studying Nishin-Ryu. And from there, it's been uphill ever since.
How many years of teaching experience do you have?
Around 50 years. And I started teaching as a green belt with my instructor. And we go to different schools and different neighborhoods and teach. So that was my first taste of teaching. And I was a green belt at the time. And it's been uphill, just having fun.
Elementary school, high school, or both?
Well, it was more like at the Hispanic Center. It was at the school there. He'd run a program after school or on the weekends, and we'd go there to teach. So, in class, the teacher, want people, teach the white belts. I get out there and show them how to punch and kick and jump up and down and ki-eye, and all that good stuff.
Have you ever had to use your martial arts training in real life situations? If so, what happened?
Not really. The only thing I did is I got into altercation in the military where using common sense, I walked away from a fight. I wanted to fight, but it wasn't worth it. So you use common sense. Everybody that in the martial arts, if you know how to fight, you don't have to fight nobody. So I just basically walked away. I was mad, but better than getting Article 15, so I walked away.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do, right?
Yes.
What is the most important technique you learned that could apply to everyday life situations?
Using common sense. You don't have to fight. You can just always walk away. Somebody put their hands on you, it's different. But most time, if somebody just flapping their lips, just walk away.
More like a bully, huh?
Yeah.
And born like a bully.
Yep. Everybody want to be tough till they get hit. So you just walk away.
That's true. That's true. What is the number one rule of martial arts? Is there one?
Just being respectful. Everybody has their own saying. My thing is, don't start no stuff, and there won't be no stuff. Mm-hmm. So, just using common sense. That's the main thing. Don't bully people. Just try to just chill.
What key factors should I consider when assessing a martial arts teacher? Does price matter?
Not really. Sometimes you find somebody that has a cheap price, can be a good instructor. Somebody that has a real expensive price, he could be a sorry instructor. So you just go look for yourself and find out what fits you. You know, look at several different schools and see what they have. But every instructor is going to be different. You're never going to find somebody exactly alike. So look at the students and see what kind of people he's putting out. Look at the discipline. Look at the school if it's nice. You know, it makes a difference, but there's some people teach you out of their garage and can be real good instructors. Just because you got trophies in the window don't mean that you're a good instructor. So
That's right.
you can also buy trophies, you know.
So say that. That's true. That's true. But it's still hard to find a good one, though. Like you said, it's kind of hard if you know you have a good one.
Yeah. You know, look around. You can find them. There, you know, look in the papers, look and see who, you know, it's hard. Just go look, talk to somebody, or if you know somebody locally that's in the martial arts, ask them, you know, show you a couple of things. You can tell by the first couple punches, the kicks. If you see the instructor doing something, if he's overweight trying to tell you how to do something and he's not doing it, you know, look at stuff like that. Just because, don't get me wrong, just because he's overweight don't mean nothing, but I try to look at how does the instructor look. I mean, you're supposed to be fit. Now, yes, you can have medical problems that cause you to, you know, be out of shape, but be sloppy, you know, I don't know. I eat ice cream and cake all the time. It's going to catch up with me too, so I don't know.
Okay. What factors determine a person's success in martial arts?
It's not giving up. That is one of the things right there. Anything's going to be hard in life, so you got to just push through it. And I tell a lot of people that if you want to get your black belt, it's going to take work. Ain't nobody giving you nothing. You go get a college. If you go to college, are you going to get a diploma from college? Are you going to get your master's degree without working for it? Same thing in the martial arts. It's just a different thing. It's your physical and mind body. In college, you're using your mind a lot, and you're sitting on your butt trying to remember this stuff. But in the martial arts, it's just like getting a college degree. It's work.
Hard work. You have to be dedicated, right?
Yep.
What types of martial arts have you studied, and what sparked your interest in the particular styles?
Well, I studied a lot of different styles of the martial arts. Studied Korean, Chinese, Japanese. I studied, like say judo, Ishinryu, and Taekwondo is a Korean system. I studied Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Hapkido. Hapkido is their self-defense. A little bit of Chinese boxing. I learned this stuff in the military. Every time I PCS to went somewhere else, I get with somebody in the martial arts, they be doing this here. Oh, I jumped into it, jumping up and down, kicking, then find out I'm getting up off the floor all the time, getting knocked down. Like, how come this ain't working? So you get it's like food, like a salad. You know, you put different things. If you just put lettuce in there, it's boring, but you put croutons, tomatoes, onions, that's what the martial arts like. You put stuff into it. The more knowledge you get, it makes it so much better. So I got to study. I was blessed to learn how to study a lot of different styles, and I mix it all together because if everybody fought the same way, it'd be a boring fight. If everybody just out there kicking, this guy kicking, taking time. But if somebody else throw up, jump up there, boom, pop somebody in the face, ooh, that's different. So, you know, that's what makes it good. It's just like a salad. Just put all the ingredients in it, and you come up with the ultimate system.
You like all the different styles.
You just mix it all together. Style. It freaks people out. I stood there on one leg one time, like the the Karate Kid. They didn't know what to do. I just stood up like a crane. I was like, oh crap! I seen it in a kung fu movie. I was in a tournament and did it. Guy didn't know what to do, and I kicked him.
Oh, you kicked him?
Yeah, he did. He looked at me all strange. He never seen nothing like that before. Yeah, so, I mean, you just mix things up, you know, like I tried out for the Olympics, you know, and I studied Taekwondo, but my background was a Japanese. I was a puncher. So that helped.
I'm sure it did. And how long did it take for you to become a master, and are you still training in the martial arts schools?
Put it this way, I started in 1973, all right? In 2006, I became a Grandmaster. That's a long time. And I probably held a green belt for it longer than anybody. I had my green belt for 15 years.
Wow.
And that's right above the white belt. But I traveled in the military, but I still go to different schools and teach once in a while. But I'm not taking classes from nobody. No, I teach, but you can always learn something from somebody. But I just have fun.
What is the difference between martial arts and self-defense?
Martial arts is, let me see. It depends on what type of martial arts you talk about. But when you talk about martial arts, most people talk about karate. Karate is jumping up and down, jumping and kicking and spinning kicks and all that, like in Taekwondo. Self-defense, you're not jumping up and down. You're kicking below the waist, below the groin area. So you're not kicking up into the face and nothing like that. Like Taekwondo, you're doing spinning hook kicks and all that. Self-defense, you're doing things as close to you. I teach close quarter combat where if I can touch you, I can do something to you. So basically you're kicking no higher than the groin area. You're kicking kneecaps where it's easy. If somebody grab you, grabbing fingers versus jumping up and doing elbow strikes. And like you see on MMA, they jump up and doing all. Now, most people can't do that stuff. When you're older, you try to do things as simple, easy things to do.
Yeah, got arthritis and everything else.
That's right. But you can get your key out and stick somebody in the eyeball with it.
That's true.
So just using common sense, that's all.
That's true. I've heard that you specialize in disarming weapons. What initially sparked your interest in that?
Well, my instructor, Sensei, Master Ziegler, he trained the military and he taught hand-to-hand combat. And when I got into that, oh my gosh, it just opened up my eyes because it was easy to do for me. Everybody's different, but for me, it was so much easier being a truck driver. I drove tractor trailers over the road, and it made it easier. Instead of kicking somebody in the face, I could kick them in the kneecap. Somebody grab you, how to use a joint manipulation. I mean, that stuff was fun. It's better to do that to somebody than to receive it. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure it is. What aspects of disarming weapons do you find most fascinating?
Disarming a gun, a handgun, a knife, or like I trained in the military how to disarm AR-15s. But this is stuff is when people are close to you. So people think that you can reach out there 5 feet. Nah. If you can touch a person with proper training, you can take it. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work every time because this is real life. It's not a movie. So you got to know how to move it. You don't grab a weapon and have it the barrel point to somebody else. You got to know how to disarm that weapon. It's so many different things. One day I'll show you, we did one a long time ago and I explained it how it's done, but just talking about it, people can't conceive how it's done, but it's a lot to it. You just don't grab a person's wrist. You got to know how to take the weapon from that hand. You got to know how to redirect that barrel, that weapon toward the person. And most criminals don't want to get shot, so they're going to let go of the weapon. When you start putting pain on them, pain is a universal language. Everybody understands what pain means.
So you said like specialize in disarming weapons, like you say, like guns and knives.
Yep, clubs. If anybody has a weapon that attacks you, how to disarm them. It's the way you move. Basically you can use blocks, but then, you're using strikes, like say for instance, somebody came at me and swung with they're not how they going to do that. Most people will come straight at you with a knife. How to get your stomach in so you don't get your gut, get a hole in your gut, redirect that wrist back to them. And where I train military, grab them by the neck and push the knife up here. That's how I train the military. It ain't a show. So you can either take the knife away, bring it back behind their back, stick your fingers in their eyeballs, slam their head back, and the knife goes up into their back while it's behind them. I mean, there's so many different things you do. It sounds brutal, but this is self-defense. It's not a tournament. It's not a karate tournament. It's self-defense. And or put it this way, when I train people, I teach them how to use and check somebody's prostate with the knife. If they attack you with a knife, check the prostate with it. That's a nice clarification right there. Sounds brutal, but why'd they come at you trying to hurt you? You do what you got to do to survive, then call 911.
This might be a little off topic, but it has been on my mind lately. Not to get political, but gun control has been a heated point of discussion for years. In 2024, There has been over 300 shootings in the U.S. alone. Year after year, the numbers are going up, and several states are introducing bills that will allow certain staff members to have access to firearms on campus. This is crazy. How do you feel about this? And do you think that teachers should have that in schools? And what is the risk?
My personal opinion is no. Teachers shouldn't have guns because if you know how to shoot a gun, it's one thing. But what if you have a gun in the class? You're not gonna be walking around with a gun on your hip. You're gonna have it locked in your drawer somewhere. What if somebody gets the key? Somebody knocks you out, takes the key, and get the gun and shoot people? I think they should teach teachers how to disarm. They need metal detectors. As bad as getting to that point, but you got to have metal detectors. Coming into the school. Teachers got enough problems on their hand teaching kids. Why are you going to put a gun in there? And half the teachers probably never even shot a gun in their life. And they get up there and they shake and you're scared because when things happen, you're not going to be sitting at the range with a steady wrist and breathing the way you're supposed to be breathing. Most people going to go, each time you take a breath in, the hand goes up because they don't know how to shoot. Then what if they shoot a kid? That's just too much. Nah, learn how to disarm a weapon. A lot of times you can disarm one a little bit easier than shooting, but using basic common sense, do lockdowns, but you can't tell them nothing. Everybody thinks that, arm the teachers, and then the teacher shoot another kid and kill him. Now you're suing the teacher. You ruin that teacher's life. Get metal detectors, put cops in the school, good cops. You need cops that have common sense. Don't get me started on that.
Well, you do have some good cops and some, you have the good and the bad.
Exactly. So you need cops that can deal with kids because the biggest problem comes because their emotions get hurt. Somebody say something hurt their feelings. All of a sudden, no, I'm going to, you obey me. Oh, come on. Use common sense. All cops ain't bad, but some cops, sometimes, just like people, some people shouldn't chew chewing gum and walk at the same time. Just some people they just can't handle it.
Well, Fred, before we wrap up, what is the best advice you can give to someone who finds themselves in a fight but doesn't have the option of running? Pray?
Yeah, you better pray. It's time to call on Jesus.
If you never called on him before, you better call.
That's right. Call before you leave the house. But if you find yourself, here's the thing about it. If you can usually know, if you see a bunch of guys or a bunch of people, strangers, and you don't feel comfortable, go back the same way you came. Get away from them. Don't just try to think about how you used to do 60 years ago or 70 years ago. I used to drop a person. No. Hey, we're all older now. We got problems. The only difference between me and most people my age, they don't work out. So I use common sense. I'm not looking for a fight, but I'm like the Roach Motel. You stop in, you ain't checking out.
Check out the body bag.
They go check out somewhere, but hey, I worked too hard for what I got. I'm enjoying my retirement.
That's true. Understand that.
So just use common sense. That's it. Learn how to protect yourself, and it's all about mind using common sense. This is the biggest weapon sitting in that cranium. Is the biggest weapon that you can have is using common sense.
Absolutely.
And that's what I would tell people to do. Just don't look for trouble, but if trouble come and you got to get away, one simple thing you can do, what I'm doing right now, you can always do what? Poke somebody in the eyeball and get away. If you can't run that fast, you better poke him in both eyeballs and run.
Ooh.
That's just about like my shoulder's bad, but use two hands if you have to and just get away. But, you got like pepper spray, and get a concealed carry permit, things like that if you can. But it's it's the same planet, but people they're not the same no more. Something wrong with them.
It's a different world.
Yep.
Wow. Right. Well, are you working on any projects you can share with us? And how can people follow you? I know you in a movie.
Yes. Right now, we're currently with Fordham Films, filming the Vic Jones movie. He was assistant principal at the Harrisburg High School here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And we're shooting the movie. I'm the fight choreographer. I'm the guy I bring my training weapons, the ones I use when I train military and police. I have, they look real, feel real, and I'm showing people how to use them on the set. So we're doing that, and you can contact me at topflightcd.com. That's www.topflightcd.com. Email is topflightcombatants@gmail.com. Yeah. So, or just contact Jocelyn. She can tell you.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Send me a line and we do that.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Fred. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us today.
Thank you.
Okay. For our viewers at home watching, if you like what you see, subscribe to The Jocelyn Moore Show. Want to be a guest on our show? Head over to our website, www.jmentertainment.info. On the homepage, click on About and follow directions to be a guest. If you have any questions about today's show or past or future shows, just click Contact on our website and submit a message. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, take care and keep watching.